Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Great. Hello, everybody. My name is Dan. I'm with Sherlock. I'm head of sales at Sherlock, and I'm going to cover a very interesting topic. Oh, the time didn't start. I have more than 5 minutes. That's great. So I want to talk to you about a recent trend that we noticed while doing more than 100 audits this year is the difference in approach from teams and the real differentiation between teams, looking at security as a point-in-time approach or something that they do continuously. And we have to understand that we have some great power in Web3 coming from transparency. And transparency is very good for the user, but it's also very good for the black hat because he can look into the code base always. And in the name of the philosopher Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility, and we need to take care of the code that is on chain. So how do we do that? Even if you look at how many teams approach their security right now, a lot of them are looking or doing a lot of point-in-time engagements, more like solo audits, testing, with the idea that you do it once, the code is secure, and you can launch it on chain. However, if we look at even in Web 2, right, even the SOC 2 frameworks, those things you have to do yearly, right? Even if we look at some other approaches in Web3 we have right now, like bug bounties, maybe AI reviews, these are things that are expected to be ongoing, things that a team is doing constantly. And if you look at black hat activity and white hat activity, it is known that they approach a code base on a continuous basis, and they might come back to your code base month after month. So we need to move into the always-on security approach, and I want to quickly show you how a typical company would audit their code base or approach security. They would do 1 or 2 collaborative audits, and then we maybe have a bug bounty, and this is considered like standard good security right now in the industry. And there are actually statistical models you can use to determine how many more bugs are left in the code base that we have inherited from Web 2. And if you use a statistical model on a lot of these audit reports, and for a lot of these teams, you will notice that, according to them, there are still 5, 10 or so bugs left in the code base, and this is a big problem. So I want to give you some data. In preparation for this presentation, I looked at the data from 400 plus audits we have done just to determine kind of how it looks on our side. And as you can see, about 43% of teams would warrant re-audit based on the number of vulnerabilities we find in their code base. And to give you some insight into how I have come up with this information, basically I have looked at anytime a team has refactored more than 25% of their code base, basically a fixed review being, you know, like a new audit, whether a team had more than 3 high vulnerabilities per 1,000 ants log, all of those teams would be in this category, and you could see it's a scary number. Right? It's a very scary number if we look at it. And it's also very expensive for the team, and that's one of the reasons why it's so painful, because it would cost them on average about 65,000, and that's half of the problem. The bigger problem is obviously the delay, which the awful BDs don't like and push the teams to deploy as soon as possible, and many teams are taking the at the first glance easy route, but with huge consequences down the line, which is disregarding the recommendations that the their auditors give them, and still launch even though the code base is not in the perfect state or not mainnet ready. So this is some scary statistics, and this has been troubling us for the past year, and we've been thinking about how to solve this problem basically. So this is what I propose to you: a different method of approaching security in a way to make it continuous, one, to both mirror how black hats perform and to mirror some of what more Web 2 companies do, we're utilizing the tools we have available with both point-in-time security measures and ongoing security measures. So a lot of it has to move here, right, into the development process. Really, I think this is going to be the next trend for the next year, how we move security early into the development process. And I believe that we'll see a lot more security AI tools being used for that. And teams, already top teams, are utilizing the help of security consultants from security researchers to really implement or embed security at the development stage when we are only conceptualizing the code base and the ideas we have in mind. We can then finally, after this tedious process, this process would take a team like 3 to 5 months. Then we would go into the audit process, and there we have anything from formal verification to collaborative audits to audit competitions. I don't have to chat about them. You know what they are, and only after that, only after the final reports, don't have highs in them, only have a few issues, then we can go and let the white hats do their job, and hopefully teams opt for Sherlock Shield or for basically insurance, and we see more of that coming to the market where we get some insurance in these big protocols. That's my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dan. That was awesome.